So apparently some people think All for One and Full Frontal Assault are spin-off games rather than proper entries into the Ratchet Clank franchise. I can sort of understand the logic given how the gameplay is so different in those titles, but since the stories are canon and they're both made by Insomniac, I'd say they count as proper entries. Now, if you really want a spin-off, you need look no further than PlayStation Move Heroes, the three-way team-up between Sony's biggest cartoony franchises, and probably the only real reason to actually get a PlayStation Move, unless of course you happen to be a massive Harry Potter fan. Ratchet & Clank tie into this particular game the same way Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper and Bentley do. They're all mysteriously abducted, along with chunks in their respective worlds, and forced to participate in a friendly competition by a pair of aliens who, as well as forcing the local creatures into slavery, have actually organised the event for nefarious purposes. Honestly, the plot is irrelevant, since that's clearly not what anyone's here for. And it's a good thing too, because this story is paper thin and not particularly good. There's only a token effort to hide the villainy of the abductors, and their ultimate plan is just kind of silly. I take it back, All for One, this is an excuse plot. What we're actually here to see is our favourite heroes team up to take on a dastardly villain, and that's exactly what we get. In the cutscenes, anyway. And while it is amusing to see the super serious Jak clash with the suave Sly and the wacky Ratchet, they're just brief moments in between the core gameplay, which features basically no cross-franchise interaction whatsoever. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're playing the game, you can play as any one of the 6 main characters, but that's basically all the interaction that there is. The other characters won't appear in the game at all, not even as AI-controlled NPCs. The whole idea of a crossover is to let the characters, well, cross over, and they don't here, which is incredibly disappointing. Where they do cross over is in the levels, since each franchise lends an iconic location to some of the worlds you'll play in. In Ratchet & Clank's case, it's the futuristic city of Metropolis, which forms a nice contrast to Sly Cooper's Paris and Jak and Daxter's slum-like Haven City. Unfortunately, while these levels do look nice, it doesn't take long for you to realise how all the levels set in each location feel incredibly similar, and the novelty of being able to run around in one location as the wrong character will quickly wear off as repetition sets in. The actual gameplay revolves around playing through a variety of basic minigame-style challenges, of which there are 5. Jailbreak, where you pilot a frisbee or bowling ball around a course. Countdown, where you collect crystals to power up rockets. Survival, your basic beat up all the enemies mode. Rescue, where you have to find trapped creatures and return them to their mother. And Guardian, where you have to protect 3 separate locations from enemies. With the exception of Jailbreak, all of these challenges feel incredibly similar as you run around and destroy enemies standing between you and your objective over and over again, so it won't take long before you get tired of them. It doesn't help that there's a huge number of these challenges to get through. Over 50, in fact, which means the game will more than wear out its welcome long before it's over. The 6 different characters may have different weapons and different special abilities, but again, they don't feel all that different, and it won't take long before you've settled on the one you just happen to like the most. As for Jailbreak, that's the one challenge that differs significantly from the others. You're not just destroying enemies here. Instead, you're steering either a frisbee-like device or a bowling ball through what's essentially an obstacle course, trying to grab time extensions and such while you move around and free trapped prisoners while avoiding obstacles and jumping through portals. The fact that these are so different from the other challenges means that you'll probably enjoy them just for the variety, though even these get a tad old as their unpredictable layouts and often very well hidden objectives will wear you down. Another problem with the game is the controls. As it was primarily designed to sell the PlayStation Move, it should come as no surprise that the controller is used to do just about everything, from aiming your gun to steering projectiles to smacking a whip. The problem is that, as with the Wii, the controller isn't designed for prolonged play, and constantly moving it around will start to hurt after a while, especially with the whip, where the constant slamming motion you have to perform to use it will hurt your wrist big time. Finally, there's multiplayer. There isn't any. Well, actually, I tell a lie. There is a co-op mode. Though if you've played Super Mario Galaxy, you'll know exactly what it is. The second player controls a cursor on screen and can shoot enemies, collect crystals, and give player 1 some health. It's the most basic form of co-op imaginable, and it's really not much fun at all. The game clearly wasn't designed for it, and no one's ever going to use it, so it just begs the question of why the developers even bothered. That feeling of disappointment permeates the game, and it's the one overriding thing you'll take away from the whole experience. This could have been an amazing crossover title, with Jak, Ratchet, and Sly all teaming up to fight countless waves of enemies. We get none of that. It's a very repetitive game with rather limited gameplay, and any sense of fun that you could have established from them is crushed beneath the feeling of apathy. And in the fact that it's a PlayStation Move game, and even if you do happen to enjoy it, you're only going to be able to enjoy it in short bursts without hurting yourself. This isn't just a letdown for Ratchet & Clank fans, it's a letdown for fans of any of these characters. I cannot recommend this game to anyone, it's just a massive disappointment all round. But if you are curious about those cutscenes I mentioned, look them up on YouTube. It's by far the best way to experience this game.